What if I told you some of the most emotionally complex, philosophically challenging stories ever told weren't found in prestige dramas or award-winning films, but in Saturday morning cartoons? For decades, animation got dismissed as lightweight entertainment meant to babysit children between cereal commercials. Parents walked past the TV without a second glance. Critics rarely bothered reviewing anything drawn rather than filmed. But behind those bright colors and silly voices, a quiet revolution was brewing. A handful of visionary creators refused to talk down to their young audiences. They understood something radical. Kids can handle darkness, ambiguity, and emotional truth. And so they made shows that didn't just entertain children. They respected them. These 15 animated series shattered expectations about what cartoons could accomplish. They explored war, depression, genocide, identity, and grief. They won Emmy Awards and sparked academic discussions. They made parents cry alongside their kids. Here's the complete breakdown of the boundary-breaking shows that forever transformed children's television. Number 15. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Somewhere in rural Kansas sits an isolated farmhouse where a nervous pink dog named Courage protects his elderly owners, Muriel and Eustace, from terrifying supernatural threats. On the surface, creator John R. Dilworth built a typical Monster of the Week format. But each episode dripped with surreal horror, psychological tension, and existential unease that lingered long after bedtime. Unlike standard cartoons that wrap everything up neatly, Courage frequently ended on disturbing, ambiguous notes. One famous episode featured a ghostly Egyptian pharaoh demanding the return of a stolen artifact. Despite Courage's desperate heroism, his family barely escaped a horrible fate, leaving young viewers genuinely unsettled. Another installment featured an obsessive barber whose creepy fixation on shaving transformed an ordinary haircut into a psychological nightmare. The show tapped into primal childhood fears: abandonment, powerlessness, and the terror hiding inside familiar spaces. Dilworth drew inspiration from classic horror films while grounding everything in mundane details: a squeaky screen door, creaking floorboards, the panicked howl of a frightened dog. This collision between the ordinary and the terrifying made kids question every strange noise outside their bedroom windows. Network executives worried the dark imagery might prove too intense. Yet Courage developed a passionate following and earned multiple award nominations, demonstrating that audiences genuinely wanted animated stories willing to explore real fear within a cartoon framework. Number 14. Invader Zim. When an incompetent alien named Zim arrives on Earth disguised in a terrible Halloween costume, humanity should prepare for invasion. But the real danger comes from Zim's own spectacular failures. Creator Jonan Vasquez crafted a black comedy masterpiece that gleefully mixed science fiction absurdity with sharp social satire. Zim's schemes, stealing solar energy, collecting human specimens, consistently backfire in grotesque and hilarious ways. The show's visual style amplified this chaos through skewed perspectives, garish color contrasts, and uncomfortably detailed close-ups of malfunctioning robots. One infamous episode twisted innocent trick-or-treating into a genuinely disturbing odyssey, featuring pulsating jack-o'-lanterns and reality-bending nightmares. Zim's robotic sidekick, Jr., hidden inside a green dog costume, spouted random nonsense and devoured snacks in ways that mocked consumer culture. But beneath the zaniness, the series explored genuine themes of belonging and identity. Zim's desperate need for approval from his home planet mirrored human insecurities, while the show questioned whether blind ambition could ever overcome self-sabotage. The dark humor attracted older viewers, but alarmed some parents who complained about nightmares. Nickelodeon limited reruns, yet the controversy only strengthened its cult following. Fans created artwork, organized convention panels, and launched online campaigns demanding the show's return. Despite cancellation after just 2 seasons, Invader Zim left a permanent mark on animation, proving children's programming could embrace manic energy and offbeat design without condescending to its audience. Number 13. Steven Universe. At first glance, this pastel-colored adventure follows a boy growing up alongside immortal alien warriors called the Crystal Gems. But beneath its sparkling surface lies a sophisticated exploration of consent, mental health, identity, and non-traditional family structures. Creator Rebecca Sugar broke significant new ground by weaving these mature themes throughout an accessible fantasy narrative. Steven's journey to understand his half-alien, half-human heritage requires confronting past traumas, both personal and collective. One celebrated episode used dance and song as metaphors for processing grief and anger, illustrating emotional regulation through artistic expression. Another installment addressed boundary violations and the power of genuine apology through a duet balancing heartache with hope. The serialized storytelling allowed characters to gradually work through emotional struggles, modeling vulnerability as a form of strength. Behind the scenes, Sugar and her creative team pushed to include LGBTQ+ representation, resulting in the first same-sex wedding ever broadcast on American children's television. The concept of gems fusing into new forms served as powerful allegory for personal growth and loving partnership, demonstrating to young audiences that identity can be fluid and beautiful. Network executives initially resisted some creative choices, particularly depictions of queer relationships, but fan support and critical acclaim convinced the network to stand firm. By respecting children's intelligence and tackling real-world issues through an accessible science fiction lens, Steven Universe permanently redefined animated storytelling. Number 12. Adventure Time. When a boy named Finn and his shape-shifting dog Jake explore the post-apocalyptic land of Ooo, viewers expected whimsical fun. They received something far more profound. Creator Pendleton Ward mastered the art of layering surreal humor over deep philosophical questions, transforming a candy-colored aesthetic into a canvas for existential wonder. Episodes routinely departed from light-hearted adventures to hint at cosmic horror. The Ice King's apparent madness gradually revealed a tragic backstory involving a fallen scientist losing himself to an ancient artifact. The villain, known as the Lich, embodied pure nihilism. One devastating flashback episode depicted the aftermath of apocalypse, showing beloved characters bonding over simple meals amid world-ending destruction. These sudden tonal shifts, delivered through deceptively simple animation, challenged viewers to grapple with memory, loss, and the enduring power of hope. Network executives doubted children could process such emotional complexity. But, as the show accumulated Emmy Awards, Cartoon Network celebrated its success. The writing staff, many recruited from independent comics and experimental animation, infused episodes with poetic dialogue and open-ended conclusions that trusted audiences to draw their own interpretations. By refusing to limit itself to one mood, Adventure Time demonstrated that cartoons could simultaneously be playful and profound. Its influence inspired countless animated series unafraid to blend genres, explore dark undercurrents, and trust that even young viewers appreciate ambiguity. Number 11. Rocko's Modern Life. This quirky slice-of-life cartoon follows an Australian wallaby navigating suburban America. But creator Joe Murray injected razor-sharp satire into everyday absurdities. Credit card debt, environmental destruction, and corporate greed all filtered through Rocko's bewildered perspective. One episode lampooned throwaway culture by having Rocko's garbage literally become a monster overwhelming him, a physical manifestation of society's disposable excess. Another installment addressed parent-child acceptance through an anthropomorphic sheep family grappling with expectations and gender roles. Though the series never explicitly referenced adult content, its subtext resonated with older viewers who appreciated biting social critique beneath the slapstick. Network censors occasionally pushed back against implied innuendo. Certain character schemes got revised to remove questionable material. But Rocko's modern life largely survived intact, earning praise for respecting audience maturity. Its offbeat humor and willingness to satirize real-world issues paved the way for future cartoons blending social commentary with family-friendly formats. By using anthropomorphic absurdity to hold a funhouse mirror up to modern existence, this series proved that animation could deliver sharp observations about the world we inhabit, while still making us laugh. Number 10. Over the Garden Wall. In just 10 episodes, this autumn-tinted fable delivered folklore, whimsy, and creeping unease in equal measure. Creator Patrick McHale followed brothers Wirt and Greg as they wandered through a mysterious forest called the Unknown, encountering strange townspeople, haunted woods, and spectral visions. Visually inspired by early 20th century American illustration, each frame evoked antique storybook pages, sepia-toned, richly textured, and often deeply surreal. Yet the tone oscillated between deadpan humor and unsettling fairy tale horror. One episode featured a jovial church service that gradually transformed into something far more sinister, reminding viewers that innocence can mask disturbing truths. By the finale, the brothers confronted existential questions about purpose and mortality, all within a structure that felt like a living storybook. Cartoon Network executives greenlit the project after seeing McHale's evocative pilot, despite it departing significantly from their typical programming. Critics praised the series for thematic ambition, while families appreciated the arc's brevity and emotional depth as a refreshing alternative to open-ended shows. Over the Garden Wall proved children's animation could be as artfully crafted and philosophically rich as any prestige drama, using folklore-infused storytelling to explore the shadows between dreams and reality. Number 9. Samurai Jack. From the moment a lone warrior prince hurdles through a time portal into a dystopian future, this series announced itself as something special. Creator Genndy Tartakovsky juxtaposed minimalist visuals with operatic action, following the stoic Samurai Jack on his quest to defeat the shape-shifting demon Aku and return to his original era. What distinguished Samurai Jack was its willingness to sacrifice dialogue for atmosphere. Entire episodes unfolded in near silence, with Jack's journey rendered through sweeping landscapes, bold color choices, and soundtracks shifting from mournful strings to thunderous percussion. Yet beneath the hypnotic style lay surprisingly mature narratives. One episode explored perception and vulnerability as Jack's arrogance literally blinded him, forcing a humbled reconnection with his senses. The 2017 revival season confronted mortality directly. An aging, defeated Jack grappled with failure, PTSD, haunted dreams, and the terrifying possibility that his mission might prove impossible. These later episodes earned critical praise for emotional rawness, cementing the show among television's most courageous animated experiments. Behind the scenes, the creative team navigated network concerns about violence and pacing. Action sequences were choreographed with dramatic tension resembling live-action cinema rather than typical Saturday morning fare. Executives worried young viewers might feel unsettled, but creators insisted the visual storytelling remained integral to Jack's mythic journey. The gamble succeeded. Samurai Jack won multiple Emmy Awards and influenced generations of animators seeking to expand the medium's expressive potential. Number 8. Teen Titans, blending superhero action with genuine teen drama. This series recast DC Comics' sidekick characters, Robin, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and Cyborg, as a found family wrestling with adolescence's trials. Producer Glenn Murakami fused anime-inspired visuals with serialized story arcs tackling identity, trauma, and emotional regulation. In one powerful episode, Raven's inner darkness manifested as a literal doppelganger, forcing teammates to confront her pain. Another installment explored how unprocessed fear endangers not just individuals, but entire communities. Meanwhile, comedic banter and sitcom-style jokes humanized these superpowered teenagers, grounding cosmic stakes in relatable friendships. Cartoon Network initially envisioned standalone episodes, but the creative team argued for multi-part sagas. Their persistence paid off when one 5-part storyline delivered betrayal, sacrifice, and redemption on a scale rarely seen in youth-oriented animation. Executive fears about alienating casual viewers proved unfounded, as strong merchandise sales and fan engagement demonstrated appetite for deeper narratives. By treating teenage struggles with the same gravity as galaxy-spanning threats, Teen Titans expanded childhood television's vocabulary, demonstrating that even heroes wearing tights need to learn how to grow up. Number 7. Gargoyles. In the early 1990s, Disney shocked audiences by introducing a series that traded pastel optimism for nocturnal shadows. The show followed ancient stone guardians who awakened in modern New York City, wrestling with loyalty, prejudice, and redemption. Unlike typical Saturday morning fare, Gargoyles wove serialized storylines rich with Shakespearean echoes, political intrigue, and mythic weight. From its opening theme's haunting choir to intricate painted backgrounds, the series established epic tragedy from its first moments. Certain episodes plunged viewers into post-colonial allegory. Stone warriors betrayed by their own ruler, struggling to find purpose in a world that feared them. The central character, Goliath, served as moral compass, torn between vengeance and mercy. His internal conflict echoed real-world debates about justice and forgiveness. Disney executives initially worried a darker cartoon might alienate young audiences, but the gamble succeeded. Merchandise sold well, and a dedicated online fanbase formed to debate the show's philosophical undertones. Gargoyles proved animation could tackle racism, betrayal, and existential questions without sacrificing entertainment value, laying groundwork for every mature animated series that followed. Number 6. The Legend of Korra. As the follow-up to Avatar, The Last Airbender, this sequel had enormous expectations to meet, and exceeded them by boldly addressing political unrest, spiritual crisis, and identity. Set 70 years after the original, Korra's story unfolded in Republic City, a modern metropolis grappling with industrialization, social inequality, and rising radical movements. Korra's journey from impulsive warrior to reflective leader mirrored her city's growing pains. She confronted moral dilemmas about using power to suppress dissent, sparking debates about civil liberties versus security. The series addressed generational trauma as past conflicts resurfaced and explored romantic identity in its groundbreaking finale, where Korra and her companion Asami embarked on an ambiguous yet hopeful new chapter together. Initially, network executives resisted the show's complex political allegories and the implication of a same-sex relationship between two female leads. However, strong creative vision and fan demand protected these narrative choices, making The Legend of Korra among the first children's series to depict LGBTQ+ themes without euphemism. By positioning its heroine at the crossroads between tradition and progress, the series expanded what animated children's programming could address, proving young audiences can engage thoughtfully with questions of power, justice, and self-discovery. Number 5. Bojack Horseman. Though technically labeled comedy, this Netflix series redefined animation's capacity for raw emotional honesty. Centered on Bojack, a washed-up sitcom star battling addiction, depression, and self-sabotage, the show never shied away from mental health struggles and systemic failures. Set in a world where humans and anthropomorphic animals coexist, it used absurdist humor to explore very real pain. From its pilot's sharp Hollywood satire to later season finale monologues dissecting grief and regret, Bojack Horseman built its reputation on unflinching honesty. Certain episodes used surreal internal monologues to illustrate depression's cruel self-criticism. Another staged a harrowing dream sequence directly confronting mortality. The layered storytelling earned praise from mental health professionals for its empathetic portrayal of therapy and recovery. Netflix executives initially hesitated, uncertain whether audiences would embrace such heavy themes in animation. Yet the series became a cultural phenomenon, sparking conversations about representation, accountability, and trauma's long-term impact. By melding comedy with tragedy, Bojack Horseman demonstrated cartoons could offer some of television's deepest character studies, blurring boundaries between genres and audience expectations. Number 4. Batman, the animated series. When this show premiered on Fox Kids, it accomplished more than bringing a superhero to the small screen. It reimagined animation's potential for sophisticated noir storytelling. Defined by bold, angular art and shadowy aesthetics, the series plunged Gotham City into a world where every darkness hid moral questions. Far from simple good versus evil tales, certain episodes redefined empathy by reframing villains as tragic figures driven by love and loss. The show's writers explored redemption, obsession, and corporate greed, frequently blurring lines between hero and antagonist. Additionally, the series introduced a character whose complicated psychology and shifting alliances would eventually reshape DC Comics mythology and pop culture broadly. Behind the scenes, producers battled network censors uncomfortable with implied violence and mature themes. Yet the creative team insisted on preserving emotional impact, resulting in a series that garnered multiple Emmy Awards and continues inspiring filmmakers and animators decades later. By proving that primetime quality drama could thrive in animation, this series paved the way for everything from Justice League to today's streaming animated productions. Number 3. Avatar, The Last Airbender. At first glance, this Nickelodeon series resembles an epic fantasy adventure complete with elemental powers and ancient temples. But beneath lush visuals and martial arts spectacle lies a nuanced exploration of imperialism, genocide, and cultural identity. As protagonists journey to end a century-long war, they confront moral dilemmas resonating far beyond typical children's programming. Creators drew heavily on East Asian art, philosophy, and history, forging a world where combat styles echo real martial arts disciplines. Certain episodes delved into revenge versus forgiveness, as characters grappled with personal tragedy. One character's redemption arc, spanning from tormented exile to reluctant hero, remains among the most celebrated character studies in animated television. Critics praised the series for balancing humor with gravity. Educators recommended using it for discussions about war ethics and cultural understanding. Though airing on a network traditionally known for slapstick, Avatar attracted audiences from children to adults eager for stories respecting their intelligence. Its success spawned graphic novels, a sequel series, and devoted global fandom, cementing its status among the most boundary-breaking animated works of its era. Number 2. Gravity Falls. In the mysterious Oregon town of Gravity Falls, twins Dipper and Mabel Pines spend summer vacation unraveling cryptic journals, battling supernatural creatures, and confronting forgotten deities. Creator Alex Hirsch married nostalgic 1980s adventure charm with serialized storytelling that gradually revealed hidden conspiracy at the heart of everything. What began as light-hearted monster hunting evolved into deeply emotional narrative about trust, betrayal, and family bonds. Mid-season episodes underscored themes of faith and friendship during dangerous quests. The finale embraced apocalyptic stakes with humor intact while balancing poignant moments where the twins accepted change and said goodbye. Hirsch peppered episodes with encoded messages, ciphers, and Easter eggs, encouraging fans to piece together clues between broadcasts. This interactive element sparked detective-style engagement, demonstrating children and teens could handle complex puzzle solving across season-long arcs. Despite network concerns that long-term plotting would lose casual viewers, Gravity Falls became one of Disney Channel's most celebrated productions, earning Emmy Awards and passionate fandom. By blending humor, heart, and mystery, it taught a generation that bravery comes not from defeating monsters, but from understanding the unknown within ourselves. Number 1. Ren and Stimpy, Adult Party Cartoon. Though the original Ren and Stimpy already experimented with gross-out humor and subversive jokes, its short-lived adult revival shattered expectations by explicitly targeting mature audiences. Creator John Kricfalusi departed from Nickelodeon's family-friendly standards to deliver surrealism, biting satire, and unapologetic vulgarity, without relying on outright profanity. Various episodes pushed slapstick into bizarre new territory, lampooning celebrity culture and psychological therapy. Visuals grew increasingly distorted and frantic, with character designs stretching into grotesque caricatures. Critics attacked the series for pushing too far, but cult fans embraced its anarchy, celebrating each boundary-breaking twist. Network executives remained divided. Some viewed it as bold artistic statement. Others dismissed it as irresponsible shock value. After just 8 episodes, the show was cancelled. Yet its influence endures. Many modern adult-oriented cartoons cite its fearless approach as direct inspiration. By demonstrating animation could be as edgy and adult-centric as live-action comedy, this controversial series expanded possibilities for what cartoons could and should accomplish. From stoic warriors to incompetent aliens, these 15 series proved animation could challenge expectations, tackle mature themes, and trust young viewers' capacity for nuance. They reshaped childhood television's entire landscape, inspiring generations of creators to dream bigger and dig deeper. The next time someone dismisses cartoons as just for kids, point them toward any entry on this list. They might never see animation the same way again.